biases or what you can mentally handle and stuff like that, and knowing when to say no to those is okay. Having that boundary of, I'm not going to work this kind of assignment. From my experience, I don't think I could do that personally. It doesn't have to be only based on skill when you decline an assignment. It can also be based on your experiences, your traumas, just your boundaries in general. Maybe you just don't want to do home health because you don't like to go into random people's homes. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be a specific reason. And then the job of an interpreter, you don't have to explain why you declined that assignment. They don't need a reason. They're not going to ask for a reason. You can just say, sorry, unfortunately, I'm not available. And if you don't want to be offered that kind of assignment again, you could just tell them, hey, I prefer not to work this assignment in the future, and then leave it at that.
So team interpreting. I have about 4 to 5 different times I've team interpreted. It does not happen often. It also just depends on your availability and what you're comfortable with. But just so you know, team interpreting does not happen often because there are certain circumstances that will pop up to where the agency will be like, yeah, I need a team for that or whatever. But setting up expectations with your team, feedback. I know we talked a lot about it in the program, about feedback, but set that up with your team first, because there have been times where I have not set up that with my team, and I'm on interpreting, and I see my team writing down notes, and it kind of makes me feel sometimes that I'm being graded or I'm back at school or whatever, which feedback is totally fine, it is helpful, but just make sure that your team is okay with that and writing down notes or whatever. Also, setting up switching times. With some more casual conversations, you might want to do 15 to 20 minutes. But if it's more complex, then you can do 5 to 10 minutes. Just set that up with your team beforehand. And also, do not ever feel bad about switching before your time is up. If you hit saturation, you hit saturation. So switch when you can, and just keep that in mind. Also, some challenges is smooth transitioning between interpreters.
Smooth transitioning between interpreters. Really getting a rhythm of how you're actually switching off. Okay, are we going to walk this way? Are we going to walk this way? How are we going to do it? Are we going to give each other a nod? Are we going to give each other a look? Kind of having something set up. And that's where it becomes challenging, especially when you do any type of VRI team interpreting, because it's not just like you're in a stage setting and the interpreters just kind of look at each other and you have your deaf person there. You're on Zoom pretty much and everybody can see you, so if you start signing to each other or someone just pulls up their camera and they're just talking with each other, it's very obvious, so that could be a big challenge as well.
And then with the lack of context and information prior to seeing, this is pretty common for even solo interpreting assignments. You get very little information about it. You will get the topic, you will get where you need to go, what time, the business, but for team interpreting, you might only get the interpreter's name. You might not get their phone number. That might not be something that you get beforehand, but just keep that in mind that you are really limited in the information that you do get. Also, don't be afraid to communicate your needs. Like I said before, if you need to switch before your time is up, switch. If you need maybe more support in numbers or acronyms, tell your team so that they're ready, that when numbers do pop up, they're ready to give you that feedback. Also, tell your agency if your team is not being supportive or agreeing with you. It is not okay for your team not to be supportive, because you both are there for the deaf community and for the hearing client. So let them know, because that is absolutely not okay. Also recognize your need to switch. Like I said, if you need to switch, switch.
Agency. So it's really important that when you guys graduate, you're signed with more than one agency, because the work you're going to get is not going to come just from one agency. If, let's say, these 2 agencies can't provide work, then maybe you could get it from this 3rd one or 4th one. I believe I'm signed with maybe like 4 agencies, Sears with 5. So it's just important, especially in the summer. I'm sure people have told you, maybe not yet, summer's a little harder to get work just because all the educational interpreters are off. So that's when it's really important, especially to have more agencies, because if you're not getting work from one, you're hopefully getting work from another one. They are part of your team, so they are not, I wouldn't see them as kind of like some kind of corporate thing where, okay, they're just giving you the job, you can't really rely on them. They want you to succeed. If you need something, contact them, message them, however you contact them. I've had issues where I had a person I was supposed to contact when I got somewhere, it was a big event, nobody was answering, I had to call the agency, it became a, let's just find it was at a hotel, one of the ones that actually needed keys to get